Hey, guys.
Hey, Romeos.
How are you?
Welcome back.
Yes.
Welcome back. And
Good to see you guys.
In answer to your question, Dominic, well, and how are you?
Very good. Can't complain.
Non Jamal.
Jamal, yeah. And I enjoyed it.
There we go.
And if you did complain,
Who the fuck?
Who cares?
Excuse me. Welcome back, everyone.
Yeah.
Glad you're back. Like and subscribe. We love you.
Yeah.
Subscribe,
move on.
subscribe.
Even if you don't like us, still
And we still don't care.
Well, we don't.
and comment.
Yeah. So what are we talking about today, boys?
well, there's a lot of concern, it seems, about individual privacy.
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 Ah.
For our British listeners. And I thought it might be interesting for us to talk about whether or not it's even realistic to think that we can achieve privacy in this day and age.
Ha!
Okay, so we know where you stand. We know where you stand. You guys good with that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
All right, so Mr. Ha, why don't you get us started?
Well, I think it's funny. It's hysterical if we expect at this point to have any privacy at all, because everyone has a cell phone now, and every cell phone has ears and eyes, and the ears are always on, and the eyes can be turned on if they need to be. So, from a listening device perspective, we know that the institutions or agencies like the NSA and other spy agencies around the world are listening, and they're listening to keywords. And this is how we haven't had a major terrorist attack in the past, 20 years or so, at least in North America. Every once in a while you hear someone's arrested because they were thinking of doing something. It's because we're being monitored. We're being monitored constantly by our cell phones. All of the cameras that are out, the so-called traffic cameras that are out there, you go to London, and if you think that you're not being followed in London by facial recognition software, then you're out of your mind.
But Nuran, hold it a second. Now, are you suggesting that the agencies like the NSA are listening to everyone's conversations across the Western world?
Listen, it's not a human ear.
No, I know
that's
that
listening.
technology, but that's what their technology is doing.
Well, of course.
They're collecting. They're collecting all the conversations.
They're listening for keywords that'll trigger a second tier
Okay.
of listening. So if you say bomb, terrorist, I'm gonna kill whatever ethnic group. Yeah.
Okay, but Nuran, my understanding is that there's first of all, I'm not sure when we look at the privacy laws that most Western governments have put in place.
They call it metadata, right? They're listening to everyone
but there's
without
legal-
listening individually to you. So
Right.
it's not like, hey, I've got Aki's phone and I need a subpoena
Right.
to listen to what Aki
Yes.
is saying.
Yeah, I understand
No,
that.
they're just listening to the entire droning
Okay,
that's going on.
and they do this without authority, and this is just routine operations. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Because that's very scary.
No, it's not.
Well, so a couple of things. First
No,
of all,
it's not.
just to clarify a couple of points. And if I'm off base, then you guys let me know, or our listeners and viewers can let us know. But some of the privacy laws that you're referring to, Aki, particularly in Western society, are hypocritical, because I believe that those privacy laws often only apply to residents or citizens of a particular state.
Good point.
And so if anyone other than a resident or citizen is involved in any kind of interaction, then it becomes legitimate, legal, to eavesdrop on those conversations.
But in that case, aren't there requirements for some sort of court warrant in order to be able to target an individual or a group of individuals? Don't you need some
under the
judicial
guise,
overview?
Under
But
the
if it
guise of
becomes
national
national
security.
security,
So
then
NSA, National Security
So
Agency.
national security has become the catch-all
Yes.
for I need an excuse in order for me to be able to bypass
People's
whatever
rights.
laws are in place
Yeah.
that protect individual rights.
Correct.
Or the rights of certain groups
Yeah.
whose ideologies are misaligned
Yeah.
with my own.
It's very
But actually, what they do is, in order to go to the next level, that's when they go get the warrant.
right.
Correct. And they'll do that after. So this is
Exactly.
it. So they'll do a global listening of
Exactly.
keywords. And then when they find the keywords and it triggers the red flag, then they'll go to the next step to say, now we need to subpoena this
Well, but
information.
hold on. Let's not be naive either. Do you think that your device or devices are only listening, or the individuals listening are only those in the physical location you're currently residing
No,
in.
of course not.
No, of course not.
not.
Of course
But
not.
it-
Because,
Siri and
because you'll have device manufacturers. I'll use Apple as an example.
Siri is listening all the time.
Well, no, Apple claims that they don't listen.
Right.
So my point is that even if Apple is being truthful in saying they don't listen, every bloody app
Yeah, exactly.
that you download to your
Yeah.
phone is listening.
But let's be clear. It's not Sanjay in Mumbai that's listening. It's
It's Ivan in
yeah, well, no, it's a,
Russia.
it's
Vlad.
it's a non-physical, apparatus that's listening. It's not
Okay,
individual.
but let's dig into that. So right now, all of us, anybody who has a cell phone,
Yeah.
what is the extent of the eavesdropping that's going on
Okay,
that person's cell phone?
Aki, you know what?
100%.
What is it?
Why don't you start talking about ball bearings and say ball bearings 20 or 30 times?
Fertilizer.
And then or fertilizer and then go to your feed in Facebook or go on to your browser.
So if I keep saying Al Qaeda,
Whatever the point is, whatever it is you say
Right.
is being listened to,
is not only being listened to, a profile of who you
Yes.
are is being developed.
created, for advertisers.
And over a relatively short period of time, the algorithms have become so sophisticated
Yeah.
that they know you better than you know yourself.
They target.
okay, but this is a very very high level marketing.
You don't think this happens? Like,
No, I'm
but
sure
it's not.
it does.
But it's not only used for marketing
Yeah.
purposes.
Well, this is what I'm trying to determine is where does
Marketing
that
is the-
happen? When does it spill over into something more nefarious?
Well, listen, the fact that the marketers do it and the advertisers do it should open your eyes to the fact that it's so easy for spy agencies to do even more than what these guys are doing. If advertisers can, if Google and Apple or any of these apps can figure out what you want, if Meta knows exactly what you want and how to give you ads, and their stock price has gone through the roof because they're very good at it, well, what does it tell you about spy agencies who want to know exactly what you're doing, what you're saying? So for me, privacy, like we're talking about privacy and the individuals who think that they have privacy. I love someone talking about how the government's listening and they've got, tinfoil around their heads or whatever, and they've got a cell phone in their hand. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? The second you have a cell phone in your hand, stop talking about, government infringement on my rights. You've given it all away.
Okay, so guys, we've established that we're being observed and listened to by myriad devices around us, right? Most prominently, the one we tend to carry around with
Under
us
the table,
everywhere.
right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And
Do
cameras.
you think the majority of people today care
Well,
about their privacy?
I don't.
No, if you ask them, they'll care.
No, because they're
No,
not aware.
I'm
No,
not.
people don't tie the two together.
Yeah.
This is
Yes.
the problem.
That's not
Yes.
the point.
They're not
Whether they
right.
do or
That's
they
the- that's
don't,
the point.
if you ask most people today
Yeah.
whether or not they care about their privacy,
I don't know about most people, but for myself, it's not that I don't care. I'm not worried about it because I've got nothing to hide. And I think there's some positives that come out of this
Level of surveillance.
Yeah, because look how many times they've committed or were able
Prevented,
to find or commit a criminal because of where he was with his cell phone.
Yeah.
With the towers, so there is positives, and I think my case, I see that positives outweigh the negatives.
So a
far.
police state is a good thing.
Well, it's not a
so
police
so
state.
now you're hitting on an interesting point, because do you suspect that there are many organizations today around the world who are using the argument you just gave to justify their actions?
Sure they are.
When in fact all they're trying to do is
Control.
profile, ultimately with the goal of controlling.
Yeah.
Controlling. That's
That's why.
controlling by the individual or society.
Well, so
Societally.
we talked about marketers earlier. Marketers are already controlling individual behavior, whether people realize it or not.
And that's at
Right?
the
And-
highest level.
And
Dig
some,
it- dig
no,
a
of
few-
course.
right.
And some people today are perfectly fine with that. They say, I don't care. They're actually making my life easier.
Yeah, I get good ads coming to me. Stuff I
Exactly.
care about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the stuff I'm really interested in.
Yeah. I mean, it happened to me with, I bought a part for a compressor. I wasn't able to install it properly. And I guess I spoke about it. Next thing I knew, I was on TikTok and I got a video on how to do it.
No, TikTok has mastered the art of.
Exactly. So
Well, we know who's behind TikTok.
to me, that's where the positives
Dude,
are.
this is what I want to have a discussion with you on.
So hold on. I think in part it's a generational thing.
Yeah.
So I think most young people today,
yeah, the social media
could care
crowd.
less.
Yeah, the social media crowd is
they
used
could
to
care
doing
less.
Yeah.
And I would think that most people, even in our age group, have some vague idea of what privacy means, but ultimately don't understand the consequences of privacy either being respected or breached. I really do.
The balance is hard from a societal perspective because on the one hand, like Dominic just said, you have the ability to now listen in and catch some bad actors before something crappy happens. Mm-hmm. That's the great part. The sad part is, well, you can also have agencies who have maybe malicious intent or things like traffic cameras that take pictures and that expose someone cheating on a wife or a husband because they shouldn't have been where they were when the traffic camera took a picture and sent it to their home with a ticket, for example. So,
or a concert.
Yeah, concert, yeah.
Or a concert, exactly, on a kiss cam or whatever. So all of these things, all of these technologies take away what we consider or what our generation considered something important, which was our privacy. We were more private people. Now, as you said, with social media, younger kids are more apt to share, to send pictures, to have an open book. My life is an open book. It doesn't matter. Anyone can see me. But there are consequences to that, and there are potential consequences to that because now that you're being surveilled, you might be in the wrong place at the wrong time from a surveillance perspective. They might, you might now be accused of something because you happen to be in that, general area because, your phone got pinged and you were there, even though you didn't see anything or were not part of something.
Come on, that's a long shot, I mean,
well, private shit happens.
Yeah, shit happens, but
Are you okay with that? Are you okay with giving up
so
your
it's interesting.
privacy?
I'm listening to you, and I'm reminded of a Spielberg movie that was made years ago. I think it was called Minority Report. Mm-hmm. And essentially, I think the general theme was to try and predict crimes
before they happen.
Before they occur.
Yeah, the sensors,
and so
precogs they call them or something.
Yeah, and so you essentially had this ability, based on a very in-depth analysis, to predetermine events before they occur.
Yeah.
And so before anyone would commit a crime, and until you commit a crime, you're innocent. Do we agree?
Yeah.
Of course.
You may have bad intentions, but you're innocent. You haven't committed any crimes.
Of course.
So they would essentially arrest, prosecute people based on intent, overwhelming evidence of how they were going to act, as opposed to punishing them for an act they had committed.
Yep.
Is this where we're headed?
Well, that's the ultimate dictatorship. That's the ultimate erosion of any sense of liberty.
You know what? I'm gonna.
See, I knew you would go to the China angle.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to China. I'm just saying generally, as a philosophy, you agree. I mean, how can you start, taking action against people for thoughts?
Hold on, guys. Wait a second. I want to come back to the question.
Yeah,
because
backpedal.
If the goal is to ultimately prevent violent crimes, terrorist acts, and so on, is this where we're headed?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to backpedal on
Potentially,
that. I think that's a crime. If your intentions were there and you were planning all this and there's already planned.
But what if you don't carry through?
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. Let's say you buy 300 pounds of fertilizer, when you're not a farmer.
Maybe you want those tomatoes to be red.
Yeah, well, exactly. No, I'm going to backpedal on that one. I think that needs to be.
But hold it, Dominic. But there's now there is every opportunity for that to be looked at, to be investigated. But there has to be a due process.
Yeah, due process.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But only
we're
because
not talking about extrajudicial killings.
Only because you didn't.
Not yet.
Only because you didn't commit the act, but you have every intention to do so.
You can take someone to court
Exactly.
for the intent.
And they should be able
intent to murder, intent to hire a hitman to kill somebody.
If you can meet that threshold of evidence.
And they've done it with a husband or a wife who wanted to kill.
Yeah, but as long as there's due process, and this is what I think we agree completely. There's a due process,
Always.
and there's an investigation, and there's a conclusion that's drawn.
Of course.
So how much privacy are you guys willing to give up to live in a society that is safer?
Well, I think there's no limit.
There's no limit.
So you don't think that you think you're concluding that this is what we have now is completely out of whack? Because I would argue that I think
I'm asking the question.
Today, what we have today, as concerning as it may be to some, is the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which means what? So you're saying what we have today is it reasonable or is it excessive? What is your...
Go to London.
No, I'm saying if you think what we have today, I'm just saying if you're of the mindset that what we have today is excessive, brace yourself because you
Okay.
haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're
This AI explosion is
everyone's life, and it doesn't matter whether you're what society you're part of, just a question of time.
Yep.
There's going to be a complete invasion of what you consider to be your privacy.
Okay,
Complete.
But, all right, but we're at what I would say is we're at a crossroad right now, and we're trying as a society, we're trying to find that right balance between proper security and proper respect for
That's
privacy.
my question. What is
right?
that balance
So
for you?
I see. So I guess this is now where we go from here is the big question. And my feeling is that right now we are at a sensible place where there are
Well, when
important-
you say we, okay, so there's
Society.
different hang on, there's different places in the world that have different surveillance.
yes.
So if you go to London,
I'm talking about North America. Can we start with North America?
Okay, but where in North America? Downtown of a city or in the suburbs, right? There's different surveillance and there's different. First of all, we have the phones. The phones are everywhere.
No, the
They're
phones are
ubiquitous.
everywhere, and the internet is everywhere. So
Right.
if you're on your phone,
Yeah.
and I'm saying you're carrying a phone around,
Yeah.
and you're connected to a cellular network,
Or Wi-Fi network.
and you download apps, or you are on the internet through tethered or untethered connections, you are being surveilled today.
Yeah.
That's why
Period.
intelligent murderers leave their phones at home. So that way
Okay.
they cannot be traced.
yeah.
Okay,
They shut it off.
But just to nuance what you're saying is you're not saying we are being surveilled, but this is not necessarily security forces. It's a whole segment of companies
Yeah,
it's
and
everything.
marketers. It's everybody.
It's all of it.
Okay,
It's
Just
all
not
of
to
it.
point for people.
Privacy applies to all facets of your life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So there was once upon a time when you were a kid growing up, Aki, and you would sneak a girly magazine, a Playboy, into the home and you would read it in the sanctity of your bathroom. Only you knew about it. Today, people are consuming porn online.
Yep. And
They know your likes and dislikes
your IP.
better than you
Yes.
understand your own likes and dislikes.
Yes.
Mind you could use a VPN
Yes.
that'll kind of be better at concealing it, but they can crack that code if they wanted to. So
But
Any safety measure can be cracked.
yeah, the encryptions now, all the SHA, what is 256 that they're using now, or whatever it is, 256 bit.
But it's a game of leapfrog.
But that's it, and they have the supercomputers now that can crack any.
But that's also, guys. But that goes also to the fundamental issue of technology. As technology advances and gets better, of course, it's gonna push against these principles of privacy and.
But you say, of course. The thing is, we're already there,
Right.
Right. So at this point, we should not have any expectation of any privacy anywhere, right? When you walk outside, there are cameras. There are depending on where you are, right? If you go downtown core, city core of many cities,
Okay.
So hold on. Point of clarification. You should not have any expectation of privacy
you shouldn't, as a human being these days.
because
There isn't any.
no. But I'm questioning whether you're saying that from an ideological standpoint or from a practical or pragmatic standpoint.
Both. Ideologically, yes, and in certain cities, pragmatically.
No, I see nothing wrong with someone ideologically believing that they have a right to privacy. However, I think they're naive if they think they can achieve it.
Look,
Okay.
They're not the same.
So yes, I agree.
I
You
don't
agree with
think-
that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you cannot expect privacy if you've decided that you want the convenience of a cell phone.
And you want to live in a city.
Yeah, exactly. Or else
It's not just a cell phone. You
Yeah, I know everything about it. Or else just live like the Unabomber. You're going to the woods.
Or the Amish.
Yeah, well, exactly. But that's it. So it's a choice you made consciously.
many people are making the choice at an age where I don't think it's a conscious decision of I'm going, of cause and effect or consequences. I don't. I think most young people don't concern themselves with it. And when you raise the issue, they'll tell you, I don't care. But they haven't really thought about it profoundly.
Yeah, exactly.
You see, I think the reality is that privacy has changed and it's watered down. I mean, we all agree. In today's world, privacy is a much lesser element than it was
Yeah, you
in
don't
our
have any.
generation.
You have
Right.
none of it.
But the real point to be made is abuse of that. That's where we have to.
But what
really,
do you consider abuse? That's the question,
well,
right?
security. I mean, like security forces.
How about
without warrant.
advertisers?
I don't want any security force. Okay, I'm just talking about policing and intelligence services and what have you.
You don't want.
I don't want them without a warrant. Without a warrant.
Okay.
Without
it doesn't matter what
without
you want, though.
overview. I don't want them to be able to infringe on my privacy without overview.
Okay. So if you live in a society where one of the overriding goals is to minimize, or to the fullest extent possible,
China?
No, eliminate crimes
Yeah, terrorism,
and
national security.
and the governments that are in charge of that society essentially state openly, right? They're not concealing anything, openly, that one of the ways that we can achieve that crime-free state is by implementing surveillance tools that will allow us to ensure that we prevent crimes from
Okay.
happening.
And what are the limits to that power?
They're unlimited.
Then I would not want to live in that system.
Well, we are living in it. That's the point.
No, we're not. Come on, there are
don't-
safeguards.
What safeguards? They're listening to
I'm
all
talking
the
about
keywords.
Yes, for marketing. That's what's
Not
one
marketing.
side of it. Security, but for security and criminal investigation.
I'll tell you what's missing from
Hang
the
on.
equation today. What's missing from the equation today is transparency.
Yeah.
Because all the listening is occurring without there being full disclosure on the part of the parties listening.
Surreptitiously. Is that the right word?
That to me is the biggest issue at hand currently.
Yeah.
The complete and utter lack of transparency. And you can say that about any regime in any society around the world.
Guys, let me ask a question. If, let's say, this existed back when 9/11 happened, do you think 9/11 could have been prevented?
Yes, of course. Absolutely.
A certain element of it did exist, and there were certain red flags.
But it wasn't at the same level.
Listen, guys, I mean, the reason why, I said it earlier, the reason why there hasn't been a major terrorist
There you
attack
go.
in North American soil is because they're listening to everyone. Unless you're writing notes on paper and passing it along to people, as long as you're using electronics, it's being surveilled.
Well,
Yeah,
there's
so I'm
also-
going to come back to
yeah.
something you said, or we said earlier, which is it's a double-sided coin. So the really sophisticated terrorists either have the means or will have the means to bypass some of these surveillance methods. So the way I will answer your question is that some of the surveillance activities that have been implemented and some of the technologies that have been implemented since 9/11 have diminished the likelihood of terrorist acts on that magnitude.
Yeah.
But they don't eliminate them.
No, but they will catch all of the other second tier, bumbleheads that want to do something because they want to, follow their god or whatever.
Yeah. Look, I think
So if you're not that sophisticated, you're getting caught.
Yeah, but are you more concerned about the sophisticated or unsophisticated?
Well, I'm considered about both. Anyone can build a bomb.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I want all the unsophisticated ones to get caught, and the highest tier ones. Listen, it's a cat and mouse game.
I'll tell you why I'm less concerned with the unsophisticated, because many of these yahoos
Yeah.
are actually on social media declaring their intentions.
Some of them are. Some of
Many
them are.
Many are.
Yeah, but the ones that aren't,
Well,
how are you going to catch them?
Well, I find it ironic today that there are people who actually get to the point of committing a crime or a terrorist act, and after the fact say, "Oh yeah, they were posting on Facebook and they were saying this and they were saying that." And I don't want to single out Facebook; say they were on social media, and we didn't pay close enough attention. Well, as the technology gets more and more sophisticated, the profiles will get more and more accurate and timely, so that you'll be able to prevent that. So those are the unsophisticated ones. Okay. The truly sophisticated ones are essentially state-run operations.
Yeah.
That concerns me a hell of a lot more.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Well,
I'm not saying that both
point-
shouldn't be focused on.
it doesn't change the fact that we as a population in this country, in the U.S., in China, in Europe, anywhere on the planet, are being surveilled by our own governments.
And other governments.
And other governments, but our own governments for sure. And that's the reality of the life that we live in. And it's okay in the sense that, okay, we are generally safer because of it. But the idea, the thought that we actually have any privacy is such bullshit. Just your credit card company knows exactly what you're spending money on. Everything's electronic. The fact that everyone needs to have a phone. Listen, they're digitizing everything. Your driver's license is going to be digitized. Your credit cards are already digitized. Tap to pay.
Concert tickets.
Everything.
Okay.
Everything is now boarding passes for all of your flights. It's all on your phone.
Okay,
now.
but Nuran,
So-
I'm not sure about your statement that we're being surveyed by our government, ordinary people.
You don't think so?
But in what way? Like, unless there's some suspicion and there's an investigation, I can understand that.
How do you think you
But
catch
you- like
suspicion?
ordinary-
How do you catch suspicion if you're not surveilling everything?
Well-
You have to surveil everything, and then when the red flags pop up, you dig down.
Okay, so
That's how it works.
So in your what you're saying is that if you take a typical American,
Yeah.
just normal person,
Yeah.
it's a matter of routine that the government of the United States is surveying them.
No, I would say governments in Western society
Where's the line?
So they've prioritized certain things. So anything pertaining to your finances that occurs through established financial networks
Yeah.
is monitored.
Yeah.
So all finances are
Right?
monitored
So,
for sure.
so whether it's your tax filings, your transactions involving a credit card company or a bank, a financial institution, an
Any-
insurance
any
company,
payment.
any and all,
Any payment
right?
that's
unless it's done on a
And
cash basis,
Deposits also.
is all being surveilled. Do you agree?
To what level? Right across the board? So somebody, if I transfer $1,000 to Dominic, that's somebody's going to look at that.
There's a record of it.
There's
Yeah.
a record.
Of course, but that's typical business
But
practice.
You don't
No.
understand the scale of compute.
But if
Okay,
you-
you're not understanding what
Yeah.
data centers can do.
But
You have,
Aki-
you have to understand that every line item is on a ledger somewhere
Let me-
and can be monitored.
Let me
Go
give
ahead.
you an example. You said $1,000 to me, right? Transfer? Yeah, that's okay. But if you transfer 5 days in a row, $1,000 to me, that's
Okay.
the red flag.
Okay.
Or any amount of $10,000 or more
Exactly.
is going to get flagged.
Exactly.
Is there at least a threshold, or is it all amounts?
What are you
Oh,
searching
it's
for,
a-
Aki? What's
Because
your
that-
point?
Because
Is
my
there a
point
threshold?
is,
Who cares?
We're conflating so many issues here.
How are we- where are we
We're
conflating?
not.
No.
We're not. You were questioning the degree to which governments
Yes.
are surveilling.
Yes.
So I only started with
Yes.
the example of anything pertaining to your
finance.
personal finances.
Exactly.
Okay, so what I'm saying is some of that, the transactions that we're talking about are financial transactions. There is, we all agree there's normal banking operations that take place and record keeping that has to take place. That's always been the case.
Aki,
but
do,
now,
do you
sorry.
understand what surveillance means? They're watching.
Okay, so this
They're
is what I'm
watching
saying.
for red
So
flags.
by law, financial institutions
And
have
$10,000.
have to report any transaction
Over
above a certain
10,000.
threshold.
Try and go to a bank and pull out $5,000. Even though it's under the 10,000 threshold, they'll still ask you, what's it for, sir? As if they...
Yeah, but that's not the government, Norm, that's the bank.
Because they have to report it.
Exactly.
Okay, so how much reporting then? Okay, we're talking about banks and financial institutions.
Well,
how much reporting do they do to
why?
the government?
Pat just told you what the thresholds are.
I know, I understand that, but so that means what? Every time.
Aki, what are you trying to get at?
Because I'm just trying to
threshold?
I'm just trying to make sense of the level and degree of surveillance in our lives.
Every
So whatever,
transaction
let me put it this way.
is on a ledger.
Whatever it is today, it's only going to intensify moving forward.
And get more granular.
Right? It's more granular today, to use your term, than it was a generation ago.
I mean, I think it is a serious issue, and like in public life, the question of privacy and the power of technology is a huge
You don't
debate that's
understand
going
the scale
on.
of data centers and what they can compute.
But I think
Well, and with the advent of AI, forget about it.
Yeah.
Like the speed at which mountains of data are going to be accumulated
this is why that we're
and
having-
analyzed and
It's, by the
be
way, AI
used-
is the news. Machine learning and inferencing have been around for 10, 15
but
years.
it's only going to get
They've
more
been used-
sophisticated.
Exactly.
And increasingly is not going to require human intervention. That's my point.
Yeah, and they've been doing that for years.
But,
This
but
stuff's been around
we're
forever.
still just at the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
Well, it's getting better, is your point, and
So-
generationally.
For those of us who are concerned about privacy, is there anything we can do?
well, this
You
is
can
where,
get over it.
Well, you can,
Yeah.
you can buy a parcel of land in the middle of nowhere.
No, you can't.
You can.
no, but
No, you can't.
example, is there Is there anything?
not?
You're gonna need to transact to purchase that parcel of land.
No, I know. So there'll be a record of it. It's not like there's not a record of you that exists on the planet anymore. No, but at least you're not going to be surveilled. But you're going to be in your own parcel of land in the middle of nowhere.
In the middle of nowhere, you're going to be a citizen of a certain country, or
Well, wherever that parcel of land happens to be.
then they're going to
As long as you don't have a cell phone.
they're going to track
No,
you.
I'm talking
Are you
about-
ever going to connect to the internet?
No, you have to be. You
No,
have to be off the grid.
completely.
Yeah, off the grid.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, is there anything in terms of technology that we can do?
No.
No, I don't think so.
technology-
It's a game of leapfrog.
Unless-
If there is anything
Yeah.
that can be done on,
Yeah.
on a near-term basis, very soon afterwards,
Well, look at VPNs.
something will come along. Yeah.
Look at encryption on WhatsApp and Signal and all of that stuff. All of that's broke. Like you can crack any of
but
that.
for
It's all
example,
crackable.
Noran, let's say you shut off your phone. You only open it when you use it.
Okay.
Would that help?
No.
No. Well,
Probably not.
No, but guys, don't you recognize at least that there is some push against this? And when we're hearing about
By who?
Less and less.
But by who? Who's pushing back?
certain political movements, consumer groups, citizen groups.
Yeah.
Of course.
Aki.
Well, do we? Okay, just a second, Nuran.
No, certain people who have certain ideals, certain beliefs.
Right, but we
Certain
do have
causes.
We do have.
It's
I
a
mean, if you look
joke.
at Europe, you look at the European
Perhaps,
Union.
but there are people.
If you look at the European Union, they have a reputation for having some strong safeguards on in terms of privacy, in terms of sharing of information. I mean, there is an example of a
So you
leading
don't-
economy that that is trying to put in place proper safeguards. I'm not saying
right.
it's
So you don't
perfect.
think the French security agencies are listening in on French citizens? You don't think the German security
Again,
services
okay,
are listening on
Noran,
Germans?
So what you're saying is
Interpol.
They're doing it. They're doing it at will. There's no due process. Is that what you're saying?
Stop with the process. I told you there's a surveillance, top down, listen to everything, look for red flags. When you see red flags, dig deeper. What part of that is
Okay, but
where's the due process?
It's a
The
simple
due process
decision
is you're
tree.
listening to everything, and then when you see red flags, then you start the due process portion of what you're talking about by getting subpoenas and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, you can do that.
Right.
But the default is I'm listening to everything.
Well, just like the default is like you have fundamentally. Why do you have a police service? I mean, to patrol and to observe everything as well.
So Aki, are you for
I'm not-
surveillance?
I am.
Is that what you're saying?
We have to deal with it. It's a reality for all the
That's
reasons
what
that
I'm
we
saying.
explained.
So that's why I'm just saying privacy is a joke.
I guess what I'm trying to understand is you're saying that it's become completely out of control.
No, it's happening. Let everyone be aware of it.
So
But,
when you say out of control, that reflects your perspective. Because one can argue that things are in greater control today than they were previously,
Exactly.
depending on your perspective.
yeah.
No, but I'm
things
saying
are more ruly
Okay.
as opposed to unruly.
Orderly.
I
or-
understand. I understand.
Ruly, is that a word?
Guys,
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
surveillance absolutely is happening. I agree with Nuran. The description of it. We have these massive security agencies, and they have these massive abilities, and they use them
Data centers.
in order to combat crime. I understand all that, but there have to be like anything in our laws. There has to be some sort of rules of engagement and
okay,
due process.
okay. So, Aki,
all I'm saying is I don't think that's completely eroded. Maybe is it losing the battle? Perhaps, but at least we have a foundation that we can build on to ask the tough questions and put in place better measures to protect us and protect some of our privacy.
Protect us from what?
protect who from what?
unwarranted and unconditional
Too late.
surveillance.
Too late. That's what I'm trying to say. All of the stuff that you're saying right now, there's a steady state that's happening. The world is turning right now. We're going around the sun. There's a steady state of 8 billion people right now and things that are happening. And that steady state right now includes surveillance of everybody. And the surveillance is getting worse and it's getting worse. It's getting more pervasive and it's getting better with AI and the AI tools that are coming out. We've had machine learning, inferencing, all that stuff for the past 15, 20 years, or at least 15 years that I know of anyway. So it's just getting a lot better. And all of these tools are going to be used by security agencies to better identify people, their patterns, what they're doing, and so on. So all of this is happening. So anyone who thinks that they have any sense of privacy, to me, it's a joke.
Okay. Well,
And there are people who are okay when it's marketers because they understand that they're voluntarily giving up their personal data for the sake of transacting with a particular marketer.
Okay. So when I
but they would object if it was the government. Well,
Yeah.
the newsflash they should be aware of is that governments, and in Western society increasingly, because not been an issue in other societies, are increasingly by law forcing private industry
To share.
to share data with them.
Of course.
Yes, they are. So,
Right?
so what
So
I,
all the telecommunication providers, for instance,
Yeah.
they have no choice.
I think all that I'm saying is I'm adding to that description of the situation. I'm adding the element that is society, people, consumer groups, governments. There is pushback and there is an attempt to try and get a better handle on this.
On whose part?
No.
On the
So,
part,
completely disagree with
that's
you.
why we have privacy commissioners in most advanced governments.
Actually, I'm telling you, there's a steady state right now. Right now, right this second, the phones that are on, that we're using, if they're not on airplane mode, and probably even if they are on airplane mode, are listening to us. Okay? We are being surveilled. The world right now is being surveilled. All of the cameras, all of the traffic cameras that are out there, all of the cameras that are everywhere in downtown cores, all of them have facial recognition systems that are running in the background that you're not aware of. And the people who put the cameras up are probably not aware of. But all of these things are digitally connected. They have an IP address and they can be hacked into by anyone. All of this stuff has a digital footprint. If you have a digital footprint, it can be hacked into. The Chinese government can hack into on the Highway 40, the traffic camera, and look at that picture. Mind you, it's all on a website anyway. You don't have to hack into it. You can see it. But my point is, all of this stuff is available.
And my point is, Noran, that there is an attempt to come to terms with it, to fight this.
By who?
By governments, by society.
The governments are the ones who are doing the surveillance.
What privacy legislation exists in most advanced countries?
It's part.
What is the value of that?
It's another.
Come on.
What is the value
You're being
of that?
naive.
It's another proof point when we talk about hypocrisy in Western society.
This is naivete.
It's a lack of transparency. Things are being done, but the reason for which they're being done is not being disclosed to the public.
Exactly.
Okay, so my point is, guys, that there is going to be, I think there's going to be a bigger battle around this. I don't think it's going to be, society just basically sleepwalking and allowing, surveillance to reach like a limitless potential.
Okay,
it has the ability to do it. Sorry, Doran. All I want to say is I agree the trend lines are as you
It's not a trend line. It's done. That's what I'm saying.
I agree. And what I'm saying is though there are attempts.
You think
to
it's going
fight
to
for
come
privacy.
back? You think it's going to be less in the future?
It controlled, managed better, more transparency. You're right about your point about transparency. Those are legitimate, debates that are going on right now. That's what I'm saying.
There was a lot of pushback maybe a couple of years ago. Now you don't see it anymore because people are just getting used to it.
All of the future generations, the new generations, are growing up with the devices.
So
they're not thinking about the ramifications of their data. They're not thinking about, hey, my footprint, my digital footprint is being watched. They're not thinking about that.
So guys, if when I delete the apps, or when I go on a website and I do the cookies, what cookies I select the cookies.
Doesn't matter.
Nothing, useless.
Are you kidding
Nothing.
me?
Okay.
Are you kidding me?
It's absolutely.
By the way, which browser are you using? Google Chrome?
Yeah.
Okay, you think Chrome doesn't know everything that you're doing? Everything, and I mean everything. You go into a private window, you think they still don't know what you're doing? They look at everything that you're doing. Forget the website you're going to. The browser is looking at you.
But that's okay. But that's also logical.
That's logical.
I mean, from a marketing standpoint, if we're going to be, on the internet, of
my
course,
point is that
there's limited privacy.
Pandora's box. Not only is it open, it blew wide open.
Yeah,
it's all,
exactly.
and years ago,
Yeah.
we're done.
You know how profitable it is for Google?
Oh, of course. One of the most profitable business
search
models
is-
ever developed.
It's so profitable.
Yeah, of course, I
that
know.
Even though it's got a monopoly, they still advertise.
I know. that was one of the jokes, by the way,
Exactly.
at the comedy show we were at.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but Nuran, so your conclusion is what? That
We have no privacy, and it's going to get
and
worse.
it goes, and there's no limits to that invasion. It's total, complete invasion of our privacy.
Yes.
The big powers and all the big players in the economy
National
know
security.
everything
Aki,
about every second of our lives.
Perhaps we should have asked this
Pretty
question
much.
at the outset.
Okay.
What is privacy, Aki?
Yeah. What do you?
What is privacy? What do you consider to be privacy?
How do you define privacy? There's certain parts of our life that should not be divulged.
Oh, okay. So when you're having a heart-to-heart with your wife in a
Exactly.
room and the phone is on the table and it's listening,
Is that really nerd?
Dude,
Yeah, well,
everything is being listened to.
So our phones right now are listening to what we're talking
Well, they're
about.
listening for. If I've got an Android, if I say "Hey Google," it comes on, but it's listening to me
Okay.
to say "Hey
Okay.
Google." You think it's not listening to everything else I'm saying?
Okay, look, that's interesting.
By the way, talk about one subject 5 times, and you're going to get advertisement on
Yeah.
that thing the next day.
But that's smart. That's the smart
Yeah,
advertising.
but how
and
did they
marketing.
do it? It's because they're listening.
But that was even before technology, even in the old days. That was
Aki.
how marketing worked. You guys saw Mad Men?
Hang on. Let's use the logic here. The way, the methodology that they're using in order to serve you that ad that you just spoke about, that methodology is they're listening. They are listening to the words that are coming out of your mouth, and they're listening to keywords. And by the way, that's what the NSA is doing. They're listening for keywords. And when those keywords come up, they'll get a flag that says, he said this word. He said the word bra, this many
Okay.
times. He's going to get a picture of a bra on his next ad because he seems to be interested in this word.
Okay, so
So
I
what that
get
means is
those
they're listening
regardless.
to, and they're listening to everything that you're saying.
all right, okay. No, I hear you. So your conclusion is we understand we lost the battle. There's complete
No.
invasion of our privacy.
There was
why
no
is there a
battle.
What's the
It's-
battle?
it's-
There was no battle, Aki. We
Aki.
gave up as soon as we got these phones and we said, these are handy.
Each one of us has to do a cost-benefit analysis.
Yes.
That's all.
Okay, right. But I'll give you an example. I mean, it was a very it was a huge story where the FBI had asked Google to access a certain suspect's
It was Apple, I think.
Apple,
Oh, yeah,
Apple,
so, yeah.
right?
Couple of times, yes.
and I believe
No, they wanted them to unlock a phone.
right, and Apple refused.
So
to
they
do it,
said,
and,
yes.
and then eventually the FBI did it on their own. They were
Yes.
able to unlock the phone on their own. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. I mean, when I'm talking about
So
a
they
battle,
said.
there's okay. So I understand.
But again, hypocrisy. Apple portrays itself as the champion
Yeah.
of protecting individual privacy. Yet every bloody app that you load onto an Apple phone, onto an iPhone, listens.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
That's it.
Okay, so guys, let's do a quick poll. So you're saying that it's forget it.
We lost it years ago.
Surveillance now is dominant, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Well, it's happening.
Okay.
Open your eyes, people.
Okay. And you agree too?
I agree, but I do a cost-benefit analysis. And to me, the benefits outweigh the cost. I'll give you an example. I have an app called Bands in Town. I love music. I love going to concerts. It takes my playlist and it tells me when there's going to be a concert in my area. That to me is worth millions of dollars, because or else I would miss.
But so
I
here's
mean,
the difficulty I have. So you are willingly and knowingly using technology to help you in obtaining information that is useful and meaningful to you.
exactly.
That has nothing to do with an invasion of privacy.
Well, it is because it's using my playlist.
No, but your
eyes open.
You know what you're doing.
Yeah, you went eyes open into it
That has not, for me, that has nothing to do with privacy. Privacy for me is
without you knowing.
any information, or more specifically data, about me that I would not want anyone else to know without my providing consent.
Pat,
That's
I'm
privacy.
factoring that in my cost-benefit analysis. That's what I'm saying.
No, fair enough. But I'm saying, but clearly in your example,
Yeah.
you don't care because you're getting a benefit.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is the only time anyone should be concerned with a breach of their privacy is if there's data pertaining to them that is finding its way into some third party's hands
Yeah.
that they do not want disclosed to a third party.
Yeah. Well,
That's
I
a
agree.
breach of privacy.
That I agree.
And the whole argument,
That I agree.
and the whole argument, based on taking us back to when Nuran started the conversation, is that whether you want it or not, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So in other words, data pertaining to self that you do not want shared with third parties
I agree.
is going to be captured by third parties and shared with other
and
parties,
sold to others.
right?
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not.
And by the way, it's in the license agreement that no one reads and agrees to, because
Again,
it's all written in there.
cost-benefit. To me, the benefits so far about Wade.
But the whole argument, while valid, is invalidated by the fact that whether you are doing a cost-benefit analysis that leads you to a certain conclusion, these third parties are going to do what they want, regardless of what your choices or preferences are.
Yeah.
So whether you think there's a benefit or not, they're going to do it regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're giving up your right. You're giving up your right to privacy.
In exchange, I'm getting all these benefits.
Yes, you are. That's why the phones are so handy. I can get my boarding pass on here. Everything's on here.
You know,
I can do my online banking. It's great. I can pay for anything with the tap.
So the point is, listening to you two,
we sold our souls.
Everybody should feel that way.
We sold our souls.
But the fact of the matter is, not everybody will.
No, because they're not thinking about privacy.
Well, or you have individuals in this world who are all about ideals. And just for the sake of defending an ideal, they're going to make an argument against it.
But they're also paranoid.
Some people may be.
Yeah.
Well,
but doesn't have to be paranoid.
People can consider me
some people are paranoid. They're paranoid about everything.
Yeah, but they have to open their eyes and realize that the surveillance is happening.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but you know what? Again, it just makes me laugh my ass off when people are bitching about privacy and they have a phone in their pocket. It's like, dude.
But these are people. Okay, so
these are people who don't understand technology.
Many people in our society, and most people don't know what they're fighting for.
Yeah, they don't understand technology. And once you understand technology, once you understand digital footprints, and once you understand networking, and how, and how anything that's digital that's connected to a network is hackable, viewable by anyone, it's like, geez. And if it's encrypted, the encryption can be broken easily. It's all of this stuff. It's all bullshit, guys. And it's just people should understand this, that as soon as you have connection into the digital technology that we have, you have no privacy.
So what, if any, aspects of privacy do you believe should be protected, either by law or other means?
Well, I think, your basic information, like your social insurance number, government issued.
Your private communication?
Yeah. Well, private communication.
Well, in theory.
Private communications.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's all gone, guys.
It's all gone. I don't know about that.
So you say private communication. So if you're having a conversation that you consider private,
anytime,
but it's touching on issues that may be detrimental to society.
Yeah,
No.
You want to explode a bomb somewhere.
No.
Okay,
No,
well,
what?
well,
No,
that's a
what?
conversation that you could be
It's a
having with
private
someone.
conversation.
If a terrorist is talking to another
You
terrorist,
cannot go into that realm. You cannot start going into people's heads. Private conversations
That's
between
not
two
heads.
individuals.
But it's
when there's
done.
when there's no other indication of any crime or any.
You're saying we should.
Abuse.
We should.
It has to start.
But
at
no,
some
but
point.
I'm not saying that's what our laws say. That's what our laws say. You cannot bring. We have evidence laws.
Aki,
that courts
remember,
rule
surveillance, top down,
I
red
understand.
flags. Then you get to the subpoenas.
Look, guys, all I'm saying is, yes, absolutely, privacy, is diminishing, but it's also changing every time. Humanity, becomes a new community, and the internet is a new community.
But what are you upset at?
Our privacy.
What's upsetting you?
I'm not upset because what I'm saying is we have to be vigilant, and we have to address what you're bringing up.
It's
which
too
is a very
late.
good point.
But it's finished.
We can't
Aki,
give up. We cannot
Aki,
give up, and I don't think we are. And I think there's a huge legal field around privacy issues and privacy
Aki,
rights. It's an important.
He is in the camp
debate.
that is defending an ideal.
Yeah,
but
you're right.
no, but
That's what the law is.
That's it.
So,
No, it starts
So-
with an ideal before it turns into
so
law.
what you're saying, Aki, your private conversations should not be monitored.
No.
But
Okay.
they are.
However, if let's say your name was Mohammed, you're communicating with another.
I'm not even going. I'm not even going to.
But how
That's profiling.
no, but how
That's
do,
right.
No, but how do you know if your conversation has no imminent danger for society?
The answer is they're all being surveilled.
Exactly.
It's all being
Well,
listened
there has to be
to.
exactly like what Pat just mentioned. This is you don't go down the road
There is
of
no
profiling.
There is no profile.
Both the
There's no
courts have already
profiling.
ruled.
Guys, you don't have to profile.
exactly.
Everything is being listened to. Everything.
Well, okay. So two things can be true at the same time. Don't say there's no profiling.
There is,
There's
but after.
there's ample profiling in society.
Well, hey, what do you
So,
want?
Pat, what I'm saying is it starts top down to everything, and then the red flags come up. And if the red flags are around, your Muhammad dude,
around profiles, then that's profiling.
then that's fine. But it's red flag based. It's not, hey, I'm going to listen to these to Sikhs and whatever, or Buddhas or whatever.
Yeah,
Buddhists, or they don't start that way. The default is everything's being listened to. So your ideal is fantastic, but we're past it.
But if you want privacy, don't get a cell phone. Don't go on the internet.
Yeah.
You're done.
Okay, so guys, here's
It's not realistic
Exactly.
And that's
No.
the problem.
No.
because
That's the problem.
you're not going to be able to function.
Correct.
Not these days. You're
this
right.
is this is the reality of living in a modern society. We're all for development. We're all for for a prosperous economy. Well, these are the things that come with that.
The genie's out of the bottle.
So as a society, we have to be alert and educated about what the consequences are.
But we're
and then
not,
act
because no one
accordingly.
talks about it. And by the
They do
way,
talk about it.
And think about how what we just talked about, what I just said about surveillance parallels what's happening in communist China, for example. So you kind of berate the Chinese and it's not an open society and it's a police state. Yeah. Okay, but
Wait. Can you name a regime or political system in which this is not occurring?
No, but it's
That's
not the.
that was
how
my
is it
point.
being
Okay,
done?
so it doesn't matter.
No,
that doesn't
no,
matter.
no,
I
no.
want to come back. I want to come back to my earlier question. What, if any, facets of privacy do we believe are worth trying to preserve?
I told you my.
yeah. Well, for me, the answer is all of it, but it's gone.
All of it.
Yeah, I'm a private individual. I don't want anyone to know anything about me, but I know that everything is available.
But he does a
And-
podcast.
But it doesn't mean that much to you.
Well, look at LinkedIn, for example. Hang on, LinkedIn. I was on LinkedIn. I had, I don't know, a few hundred
Followers.
contacts or whatever, or no, connections.
Connections, yes.
Not followers,
Not
but
followers,
connections. I canceled my my LinkedIn and I took it off the thing. Because I no longer work and I don't need the connections. And for me, it was more important to take my information off the internet than to have it as a.
But you're an example of someone who
I'm private.
uses technology in a way that helps facilitate your life. Is that a fair statement?
Well, I'm an electrical engineer. I understand technology.
Don't-
I
Okay,
understand
no, but-
networking. So
Don't
it's
we,
like, yeah.
okay, so-
don't we all do that?
No, yeah, but he was speaking about himself. So I'm just coming back to the fact that, so you're consciously, because you're aware of all these things, you're making trade-offs and you're okay with it. So although,
I try and be as
so you
intelligent.
got off social media for some reasons,
Yeah.
but understanding that it really doesn't change much in terms of
No.
information about you being out there in the public domain.
Well, I know my phone is being listened to. I know my location is always on, and even your browser, all of the stuff, your location, all of the stuff that's in a browser.
Sure.
Like, you have to know that all this is happening, and I do know it's happening, and I have to be okay with it, or else, to Dominic's point, you make the trade-off. It's like, hey, do I want to live in a modern state, as Aki said, or do I want to live in the Stone Age? Well, if I want to live in a modern state with all the amenities that my phone provides, my maps, in directions, all this stuff, well, yeah, I give up my privacy. I know, but the thing is, I know I've done that. I just want everyone else to understand that we have no privacy. Period. We don't. And if you don't understand that, well,
Tough
yeah.
luck.
Look into it. Do your research, people, because it's gone.
Yeah. I don't know.
So look, I think
So
that
we've become China.
you.
China.
Okay,
'Cause that gets under
we
Aki's
haven't
skin.
become China because we still live in a society with an independent judicial system, and we have laws that governments are beholden to. So that's our reality. Number one, that's not China at all.
Governments
But
create laws; they're not beholden to laws.
Number two. Yes, we have lost our privacy, but I don't think, and I think society is very much in terms of leadership in our society. Maybe not your average person, but in terms of leadership and thinkers and legal scholars, there is a movement about what are we going to do about this, and how can we ensure that in a state of laws we have proper safeguards and guardrails around the abuse of privacy. It's not we haven't won the battle, but this is one of the
No,
big
we've
challenges
lost the
that we have
battle.
as a society.
So what are those people really fighting for?
They're fighting for exactly limits so that some minimum privacy can be guaranteed or respected.
Okay.
For the reason of?
Rights. And having, again, no authority should have, the ability
But they do.
to go into anybody's mind. But they do. And,
But they do.
And that's,
How are rights assessed in society or in various societies?
Yeah.
Who determines
our legal
what-
system, our constitutions.
Yeah, okay. And then when there's surveillance that's happening,
Right, and this is, and again, we've seen cases that have been brought against some of the big tech companies for some of these issues.
It's NSA,
And
government.
NSA and
no one's taking the government to court.
NSA is, in theory, on paper, NSA, there's congressional oversight. They're accountable to Congress. They have
Yes.
to report.
Yes.
And so forth. And that has to be publicized. And that's in the
Publicized?
media.
No, it's not publicized.
The media
I'm
does
sorry.
report on that. The media does report on that. So look, guys, we all agree, and this is why what I'm saying is, and I think that we, as a society, are recognizing the ramifications of this, and there are important movements in order to come to terms with this, educate the population, and for us to be able to do it right. But that's what public life is.
Aki, it's not happening. It's not happening.
Well-
we're educating the public more than government is on the fact
but
that they have no
that's-
privacy.
That goes without saying. I mean, on every issue that we raise,
Exactly.
please.
So I think what's making it less and less relevant is the fact that younger generations
They don't give a
really
shit.
don't care about privacy the way people like you do.
And one
Yeah.
There
Well-
are exceptions, but the vast majority
Yeah.
don't care.
one
That's it.
important
That's where the education
And they don't
comes in.
think
I
about
agree.
it. They don't
No,
think
it's not a
about
question of education.
Well-
They don't care.
and one important factor is that AI is not about the algorithms, because high school kids can write them. It's the data.
Yeah.
That's where the value
Well,
is.
data mining. That's
Exactly.
That's where it's
so.
happening.
I mean, so the genie's out of the bottle.
Yeah.
You
Definitely.
can't put it back in.
And AI leaders themselves are sounding the alarm and are asking for society to take action and for there to be regulation and checks.
I don't know
For
about that.
what reason, Aki?
For the reason that we just discussed, because they recognize the potential of it, becoming just so dominant and taking us, basically invading all of our privacy.
It's done.
I haven't heard that.
I don't think the risk that they're most concerned with is privacy
Yeah,
related.
exactly.
What do you think they are? Why are they taking that position in your mind?
Well, we can tackle this in another podcast because it's a subject unto itself.
Yeah,
But
self-interest.
the unleashed potential of AI has extremely positive and extremely negative
Exactly.
Yeah. For society.
Yeah, we should do
consequences for society.
Right.
Exactly.
AI
So
2.0. or something.
obviously, most of the focus is on the positive, but for those who take the time to reflect on
Yeah.
some of the potential negative consequences, it can be alarming.
Well, the big
That's the reason
Right.
why some are asking regulators to step in.
right. So the fear is that it will dominate us, and you start domination by taking away individuality and privacy.
It's done.
No, that's not.
It's done.
The
It's
issue.
Done. It's done. So,
Okay.
we should wrap up, guys.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, I think, I'm very well aware of the fact that I've lost some privacy, but being an accountant, cost benefit, the benefits that I'm getting out of it outweigh that loss of privacy.
Okay.
That's
Aki?
the way I see it.
Well, like I said, I think that we should be very, very vigilant. I think in some parts of our society we are, as we should be. And we cannot lose this battle. I think you're saying that we lost this battle, and it's very discouraging to hear that. I mean, you have a lot of knowledge about this, so I hear you.
Yep. So if I'll add to that, yeah, absolutely, it's done. Pandora's box, genie out of the bottle, whatever you want to call it, it's done.
Toothpaste out of the tube.
Yeah, all of it, all of the above. Where everything we do, your digital footprint is all over the place. And if Google and Apple can have all this information, you don't think the NSA and CSIS and Interpol and all of these other
Not worried about
agencies
CSIS.
don't have that? Come on. Let's not be naive here, guys. Everything we're saying, everything we're doing, all of our movements, our locations, all of this stuff, it's all out there, guys.
What about you, Pat?
Yeah. So
Are you worried?
I'm not worried.
Okay, good.
in the sense that what certain people consider to be a fundamental right is being stripped away from them. The world evolves, not always in ways that we would like. Naran has repeatedly spoken about the pervasive technology that is such that the genie's out of the bottle, and you're not going to reverse course. I don't care how much certain people with ideologies that pertain to privacy and protecting this fundamental right, choose to battle. It's a losing proposition.
Yeah.
There are certain elements of individual privacy I would love to see preserved, but I'm not naive. I think it's all eroding very quickly. And I also believe that we're just scratching the surface. And the fact that younger people don't really care, and I know there are exceptions, but by and large, they don't care about this issue, tells you that in 1 or 2 generations' time, it's going to be a non-issue. People will just accept that this is how life operates, regardless of political regime, regardless of ideology, regardless of...
Globally.
Yeah, globally. Yeah, absolutely.
Well said.
All right, guys, interesting conversation.
Yes.
Love to hear what some of our listeners and viewers think about this particular topic.
We're listening.
We are listening intently. And we'll look forward to chatting
like
again next
government.
week.
Sounds good.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.